truth is, it is annoying to hear some governors make some statement or pronouncement out of their mouths in the midst of all of these insecurities, especially when it has to do with headsmen and the likes. You can imagine a governor of a state is actually saying, where do southern governors want headsmen to go? Like they don't have a state and or they don't have a place they came from. The truth is, if these guys were to be peaceful, I believe Nigerians have always lived with them. How come it just became an issue? Until they began to make it an issue, that is when it began to become an issue. Because the truth is, all of these headsmen have not been living peacefully with some of these communities. That is what brought about this. Formerly, when the way we used to know herdsmen, they used to walk with sticks and they were very friendly. They take their cows around and people play with their cows. They are together. In fact, they were more of security men because you see, those times, herdsmen, you cannot see herdsmen in a place and you want to run away. Rather, you feel safe with them because you know that if any harm is coming to you, they are likely going to be the ones to protect you. But things have changed a whole lot. And this time around, if you're walking in a lonely path, you see an herdsman, you should take to your heels because you are not likely to see the light of day. And you know what that could mean. So really, in recent times, they have been the one causing a lot of issues. So I don't see any reason why a governor would say that southern governors are trying so hard to send them away, that where do they want them to go? Like, who cares? If they have killed a lot of people in those communities, nobody cares where they want to go to. They should go back to their state. They have states. They have countries they came from. They can return back to there. Just like the president is a Fulani. He has work. He came from Katsina State. And definitely every other Fulanis have states they are from. They can return to their state because the harm they have caused in most of the southern state, enough is enough. And I think it is high time the presidency put his foot down and make a declaration about this. Otherwise, things will continue to go bad, and you know what that could mean. But let us see the governor that said it and why he actually felt like the southern governors are making a mistake by asking or banning herdsmen from, grazing cows in their states. More details, guys, but please ensure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, turn on the notification bell, like, and also share this video. Yes, guys, thank you so much for always being here. Without further ado, let us quickly dive right into the details of those reports. Yeah, it says right here that Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State is seeking more understanding from his southern counterparts on the fate of herders following the governor's recent ban on open grazing in their states. He says in this interview with correspondents in Gombe that every Nigerian in or out of government must be his brother's keeper. The issue of insecurity in the country has been a burning one over the years. How do you assess the situation? Well, it says, we thank God we have been living peacefully and harmoniously together in Nigeria all this while. However, there are instances where some misunderstandings arose which led to destruction of lives, property, and even almost destroyed the foundation of the whole nation. I am happy to say that Gombe State is relatively peaceful despite so many things. Very cosmopolitan. People of different backgrounds live, work together, and see one another as brothers and sisters. It has been like this from the time of my grandparents to my parents and even to this time. Without peace and without mutual understanding, there will be no development. And when there is no development, it means the nation will collapse. We all have knowledge. We cannot claim not to have knowledge. We cannot claim to have not learned from our leaders, especially from the traditional institutions who are the custodians of knowledge passed down from our forefathers. We have the responsibilities to combine modern knowledge with that of our forefathers and fashion out a way so that we don't overstep our bounds and peaceful coexist to realize our dreams. However, there are some criminal elements among us who do not want the country to move forward because of their greed and selfish ambition. These selfish and greedy groups who are only after their political, economical, or otherwise interests now hide behind religion and ethnicity to cause disaffection among the innocent populace. And when that happens, everybody becomes his brother's enemy. That is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria today. And it is very unfortunate. Gombe is relatively different and relatively peaceful. We are at the center of the Northeast, sharing boundaries with the remaining 5 states in the region. If you go back to history, precisely from the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914 to the days of the old northern region down to Bauchi State, we have always had peaceful relationships over time among people of different religions. We don't discriminate. Let me use myself as an example. The house of my late grandfather, which you know very well at Jekadafari, the neighborhood of that house is inhabited by Yoruba people from Ogun and Osun states. I grew up with those people and we live together. They are all Christians, and in my own family, we are all Muslims. During Salah, we share food with them and they eat. And during Christmas time, they also share food with us and we eat too. We saw that peaceful coexistence through history up to our generation. I see those people as my friends, brothers, and I relate with them so. Myself and the leadership of the state, and indeed the traditional leaders, are committed towards maintaining that peace and tranquility that we have. We will not stop anybody, and nobody should stop us from practicing our own faith, but that togetherness shall be maintained. Things are not going smoothly for the ordinary man on the streets of Nigeria today. Many are complaining that the pain is getting too much for them to bear. Do you share this view? And his response was, I agreed 100% that things are not normal in this country. This is bitter truth to swallow, and it is our own making, because God has provided for us all that we need to develop as a nation. But for the greed of some selfish elites who are destroyers and not producers, really, if you go down to the status lane, you will find that the ordinary man is not asking for too much in this country. They are very hardworking, innocent, humble, and self-contented with everything. But the greedy ones who want the whole world to be their own are the wolves among the sheep. They came in various forms to cause disaffection among the people, disturb their peaceful coexistence, and make them to destroy themselves. The fight is everyone's fight. We must come together. We must join hands, and we must struggle to make sure this country succeed, because no one else will do it for us. They say, how did you get to the current situation where there is no crisis or another in the north, and indeed the entire country? He said the origin of all these crises is tied to the elites who are in the leadership position, both traditional and political. And he made some more statements, but most importantly, the main word he said today in all of this is that he said today the criminal targets are no longer the ordinary and rich man on the streets. They also target emirs and chiefs. Why? Because the public system doesn't work. And who is the custodian of the public system? It is those of us in government and the traditional institutions. So from the village heads, the district heads, the emirs to the local government chairman, the governor, and even the president, instead of us to follow the laid down tracks, we have deviated. The deviation in the course of this problem, instead of us to maintain cattle routes, grazing reserves, and maintain forest reserve, we destroyed them. They were either allocated for housing estates or farms. Meanwhile, the ordinary cattle herders are denied where to graze and denied their means of livelihood. As a result, they go into cattle rustling and sell the cattle to another greedy man who wants it to himself. Now we end up breeding rustlers, and from rustlers to bandits, and from bandits to kidnappers. Now somebody that lost between 20 million and 30 million on cattle can now earn maybe 100 million because he's holding an emir or chief captive. We must wake up and follow the code of conduct, because these two great religions are codified, the Quran and the Bible. None of them says we should not be our brother's keepers. That is the genesis of the problem that we are in now today. Down south, there could be others that are similar, but the truth of the matter is that if the governors in Ondo, Ogun, Osun, or anywhere in the south said there should not be cattle grazing or open grazing, and you don't have a grazing reserve, what do you expect to happen? Meanwhile, in the north, I have told them I have nothing to hide. We have mechanics, pharmacists, technicians, plumbers, or whatever. You have lived harmoniously with our people, and we cannot say no to them. If you say no to these people, where do you want them to go? And there's no space here in Gombe. As I said, no cattle route, no grazing reserve, nothing whatsoever. So where do you want them to go? This anarchy that is settling is in will remain pervasive until we find a solution to it. The task ahead is really a Herculean one, and each and every one of us has a role to play. Well, guys, that is it. You've heard it all. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Whatever you have to say about this, please drop it in the comment section and give this video a thumbs up. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.